I'm Diana McCullum.
I'm Andrew Rodney.
And this is Fan vs. Fan for The Flash.
How did you become Savitar?
Savitar is a version of Barry from the future. He remembers everything that Barry does.
What if Barry can't remember what we're doing now?
Do you want to mess with his brain?
Just a little bit. I want to stop you from making new memories.
Let's do it.
Who are all of you? Oh, my lord.
Cisco.
Slight
Where
miscalculation.
the hell am I? Is this a dentist office?
The Flash, all new this Tuesday at 8/7 Central on the CW.
Alright, so on tonight's episode of The Flash, we see Barry and Savitar losing their memories. We have Wally losing his powers. Everybody gains it back in the end. Barry messes up his court appearance, and Caitlin is hanging around as Killer Frost. And Weekly Villain going villain. That's everything that happens on tonight's episode. Let's get into it. Let's talk about the pros. Alright, so pros for tonight's episode. Diana, what did you like?
Barry without memories is delightful.
Yeah.
I don't think he should have gotten them back.
I'm with you. I kind of agree with Iris on this one, where I'm like, this is the Barry we know and love, and he's happy and he seems great, and I get the conceptual philosophical idea.
He's
be
not
like,
who he was.
It's fun though.
He's fun though, and also it solved the Savitar problem. Savitar shouldn't exist if Barry doesn't have memories, but that's for a different section. But it solves your Savitar problem.
Yeah.
Who cares if Wally doesn't have powers? Go get Jessie back. She can be the Flash.
Yeah.
Barry still has his powers. He just has to relearn how to use them.
Yeah.
So it's not a big problem. But him and Iris had scenes where I'm like, I get it.
Yeah.
They were delightful together.
Yeah, I mean, let's not jump the gun by saying they were delightful together, but he was delightful. They made a little bit more sense, but it's just been so long since we've seen a fun, charismatic, playful, happy Barry that the second that I saw it, I was like, this is the show. This is the show. This is the show that got picked up, that I started to fall in love with. That this is a fun bear.
And it took forgetting who he was to figure out who he was.
Yeah.
I'm very deep.
That's oddly kind of beautiful. I like that. Yeah.
But I feel like he
needed to find himself again.
He's not going to be lighthearted though. But
right.
for Barry to even just get this nice lighthearted storyline about screwing up his court appearance with fun glasses, and Cisco and Julian got to do fun things too. Even just that line, telling Heatmonger that his name was terrible was.
Yeah, it's
so
Cisco.
cute.
Yeah, that little lean in with Cisco being like, I think it's great.
Yeah, I think it's great. And Julian got to put little emojis into his glasses. It was all the comedic beats worked for a storyline that didn't really fit this part of the season, I'll say.
It didn't, but it was just fun to have old Barry back. I mean, why did Julian program this clearly custom made application with emojis? He went out of his way to do that. He was typing on a regular old laptop. At some point, he created some kind of an emoji shortcut in the special glasses that cannot get a single bead of sweat on it, guiding Barry through a court appearance program. But, Julian's got more time than the rest, apparently.
I feel like he just made some glasses that pop your, DMs onto the screen.
Sure, okay, so
I'm okay with the emoji. I don't think he made a new program.
Those are just his Twitter DMs sliding in there.
Just sliding into his glasses. That's Google Glass. He gave him a Google Glass.
Gotcha, you got me there.
That was all he got.
You got me there. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, though, to have fun Barry
It was so good
back.
to have fun. Is that your pro as well?
I mean, that's going to be one of my pros. I think there are actually a couple for this episode. One was that the slow motion and some of the CGI work was actually really sharp in this episode. And even though there was no big battle scene set piece, like this big centerpiece that the whole episode is based around, there's no, other than the King Shark teaser at the end, there's no big King Shark moment where it's a full CGI battle. But I feel like they adjusted something in how they're doing the special effects. Little moments when Barry first got his powers back, they were doing a speed up and start in a way that the show doesn't normally do, in the way that I think they were doing it with high-speed camera techniques as opposed to fully CGI green screen techniques.
To do it a little different because his powers are messed up a little.
Yeah. And even there was a moment when Barry went to run around the particle accelerator and threw the towel at Iris, and they lingered on the towel to show the hyperspeed of the towel that he would throw super quickly. That kind of moving through their world. And this kind of three-dimensional object work, it was great camera technique, and it was just really fun little setting pieces and kept the scene moving. And I think You know what? I'm just realizing that's why it feels different. Is that typically they just bookend a scene with CGI or fast motion. They don't use it as a middle piece to keep a scene moving. Oh. Where moments like that, where it's like Barry, dialogue, towel, slow it down, stick in the moment. And the same thing happened in Iris's apartment. And it's not normally how they film scenes, and I like it a lot better. It feels fresh and
it keeps energized.
It really keeps the scene energized. Yeah.
I will say, if we're on CG, the beginning fight wasn't very long, but when Barry Iron Man'd into that Savitar suit,
that was kind of dope. That was kind of dope.
That was pretty great.
The running full speed into it, just boom.
Just Tony Stark.
Yeah. I don't know if I agree with the fact that there's a sentient AI in that robot mech suit, because I feel like that's never going to come up again. And they even immediately had that kind of attitude of being like, this was for a goof once, never going to come up again, don't worry about it. So I don't know if I love that, but it looked really slick. Yeah, so I'm going to give it to the CGI, and I'm going to give it to Fun Barry.
Excellent. I like both those things as well.
Yeah, perfect. Will, what do we got going on?
Yeah, we've people in the chat are really liking the positive Barry without his mental baggage. I thought it was fun to see and a good sort of comedic element to this episode.
For sure. So people in the chat are liking the Fun Barry. I love it. I love to hear it.
We love Fun Barry. Yeah. I think he should just get knocked out a bit more.
Yeah.
Let's just.
I really would have loved it if we just used this as a reset switch and just kept it with Fun Barry.
Great. He's still got his powers.
Yeah.
It's kind of beautiful.
Or even once original Barry got his memories back, if he just remembered. This is another question I have when people get their memories back. I'm like, do you remember the part of not remembering as well?
How happy you were?
Because I would kind of like it if you remembered not remembering and was like, that I want to get back to that person. I want to have all my memories, but I want to get back there.
But this is actually a great solve to the season. If this had been the final answer, because you can kill Barry by Savitar by having him never exist instead of having to kill someone.
True.
Which is fun.
Alo Sakya, he says, I love when the show remembers Barry works as a forensic scientist.
Yeah, Alo Sakya bringing up that they bring back the forensic scientist every once in a while when they want to. Julian definitely could have done that court appearance.
I think you actually have to have the person who collected the evidence. Isn't that a thing?
Maybe.
Yeah, you can't speak to it unless you collect it.
I'm no fancy big city lawyer, so I don't know. But I feel like they also could have called a recess for not feeling well.
Yeah, when your main CSI has amnesia, which is a thing that can happen to regular people who aren't superheroes. For
a judge to literally threaten to be like, "Are you feeling well, Mr. Allen? I'm gonna set him free if you're not." What, Judge?
Well, he also asked.
You okay, Judge?
He also asked if he could continue, and Barry said yes.
Yeah.
And he could have said no.
Yeah.
He didn't.
He could have said no. All right, so I think that's enough for the pros, for the fun stuff of tonight's episode. Let's get into the negative stuff. Let's talk about cons. All right, so cons of tonight's episode. Diana, what didn't you like?
None of this makes sense.
None of it makes any sense.
None of it makes any
sense.
Damn sense.
I don't care how many chalkboards you bring out, Cisco. It doesn't make any sense.
I will never like a time loop that has no beginning and no end.
Nope.
Nothing about this memory thing made sense.
Yep.
Wally loses his powers, but Savitar still exists and doesn't have any memories, even though he would have been wiped out of existence if Barry never gets his memories back.
Yeah.
So either Savitar should have been completely unaffected or been wiped from existence.
They're playing pretty fast and loose, because they even have that moment in that opening exposition where Savitar, which is just Barry, when Barry says to Barry, he's like, the more you play with time, the more the rules don't apply. No, sorry, writers. You do not get to write yourself out of this one. You don't get to write a scene where you say that the writing doesn't matter. That's not how you write things, show writers.
No.
You don't get to do, you make a decision and you stick with it and back it up and give a character or a logical explanation that works in that universe. You don't get to say, well, nothing makes sense. What do you want from it? That's not acceptable.
Especially when you had an entire season to write this. It wasn't like you put yourself into a corner and you were like, ooh, shoot, we don't know how to make that make sense. You came into this season with the idea that Savitar will be Barry, and it doesn't need to make sense.
Yeah.
That's not writing. And also, I think it would make tons of sense if it was actually the Time Remnant who fought Zoom.
Yeah.
If the Time Remnant who fought Zoom just got all burnt up and stuck into the Speed Force and got all messed up from it,
right,
that would make a ton of sense to me.
Yeah, I thought. Yeah, I see exactly what you're saying now. Yeah.
Instead of a future time remnant
that
we've
fought
never met,
himself,
who fought himself,
who was created to fight himself,
but
in
himself
a circular...
didn't have a start point.
Yeah,
and then that Barry becomes evil because people are mean to him because he's not the real Barry.
And when he has this moment of like, oh, future Barry didn't tell you that, huh? No, we just spent a meaningless episode with future Barry where he did not bring up the one thing that has any relevance here whatsoever. Yeah, at no point, like, old Barry spent last episode with, or not, like 2 episodes ago, I think it was, with future Barry being like, I need to fix all of your problems. And at no point future Barry was like, by the way, there is a time remnant of me we just couldn't get rid of. His face is all messed up. And eventually we were kind of like, no, you're a reject to society. Please leave. And he did. And, I don't know, he's probably just lingering around Jitters. Anyway, there's a second me awkwardly lingering with Burns and no friends that we've rejected as a full person. Probably not going to come up.
But the rest of us are super happy together now. Win!
To get a full episode with future him, and then to have the exposition of future him laid down by past future him in a different episode, just dedicate to it.
Which I think last episode we said we're only going to be mad if we don't actually get to see how Savitar was made, and if they tell us through exposition and don't show us.
And that's exactly what they did.
Exactly what they did. They zoomed us. They zoomed us again.
They zoomed us again. And they told us about what happened slightly off screen in an episode we saw happen. That they're like, hey, remember that episode where you went to the future? You just missed it.
Oh no!
But there were so many exciting things you just missed. You were a little too late to see, like, oh, there were so many of us fighting me. But then you were just a little bit too early to see the older me be like, oh, I'm gonna be a Savitar. You just missed all the fun stuff. Anyway, here's everything that happened.
Your Barry impression is so spot on.
Thank you very much.
You've been working really hard on this.
I learned it.
That's my main con, obviously.
I'm gonna say that's a huge con for me. That's a huge seasonal con. That's a just show us, don't tell us,
and make it make sense. Like, yeah. I can't accept the show not making that much sense because you've established rules. I wish I could not care.
Yeah,
I would be so happy if I could not care.
Another con for me, I'm gonna say, is that I really disliked. I love the new character of Tracy, her little romance with HR. I like that. I liked her introduction last episode. That C plotline just didn't make any sense. Like, this whole bazooka thing, it felt really awkward in this episode because there were scenes where Killer Frost enters Star Labs and she's like, I'm here. Savitar lost his memories, and Wally's like, I lost my power. And then we just hard cut to, like, the room over where she, working in a vacuum, never hears any of this happening. No one other than HR speaks to her until the final scene of the episode to be like, I made this off camera. It felt really awkward, hard cuts, like they just couldn't get her in the same room at any point. Like,
it did feel completely unintegrated into the story.
Yeah.
Like, it only got 2 scenes, I think, and it's a very vital thing they've just built.
Yeah.
But, like, no other character checks in. Like, not even Cisco, who does the tech. Like, you'd think Cisco would be like, we're gonna help.
It's so weird because they could have easily had transitional scenes of, like, her just walking through the end of one scene, being like, HR, can I talk to you for a second?
So easy.
Cut to the hallway, have their little romance scene play out. But instead, it felt like it was made in a vacuum. Like, there was another director on set who was like, okay, they gave me 1 room and 2 actors, and I got to crank out a C storyline, and they have not told me what's going on 1 room over for all of this other Flash stuff. It feels like they've written her out before they've even decided to write her out, where they're like, she has no effect on anything or anyone. She doesn't walk through the scenes. She's not in the group shots. Don't worry. We're going to get a couple kisses in and kill her. Don't worry about it. We'll sneak the kiss in a place that doesn't affect anyone and no one else sees it, so it has an emotional impact when we obviously kill her. It just feels like they've given up on a character before they've even started.
I kind of get what you're saying. I never felt like this character was sticking around for super long.
Neither did I, but, like, do something with it. I get why she's, like,
pushed to the side. Yeah,
Put her in rooms.
This either needed more scenes or, like, a different episode.
I get you.
Folks in the chat not really digging the Wells side story. Tiffany Madison saying, Con, they went full nerdy soap opera with the amnesia. David Folsby
So
they don't like
Madison and Foamsby also agreeing that they don't like the whole Tracy HR side scene with the side romance.
Yeah.
I kind of now I will say I don't like the way that they did that plot in this episode, the way the hard cuts to the other room. I kind of buy the chemistry between the two of them, in all honesty. I think they perform off of each other really well.
I think I get a little, not weirded out, but I don't super buy the chemistry because Tom Cavanaugh, I know logically that this actress is in like her 40s. But she looks 25.
She's a young-looking woman.
She is a young-looking woman. And
Yep.
HR looks so visibly older than her. And, like, when they met her, she's at a university. And I know master's students can be, like, quite old.
Right.
So she's not, like, a kid. But
Right.
when you meet someone at a university and then, like, a 40-year-old man is, like, dope. I'm not super into it.
I get
but
that.
I do think they're, like, not terrible together. But it's not, like, my favorite thing ever.
Okay. I mean, I wouldn't go so far as to say it's my favorite thing ever. But I buy their chemistry. I would like to see it integrated better. It was a bad C storyline. It was poorly edited and just poorly delivered and presented.
I really like
But
this
they're fun.
actress, and I want to see her with
She's
the
great.
group more.
Yeah.
I want to see her like be everyone's best friend.
Yeah.
I think she's really fun and really cool.
What else we got going on in the chat?
People in the chat are literally arguing over the time paradox, time loop stuff.
Oh.
Some people got it. Some
Yeah.
people like it. Some people hate it.
I-
Where are the time rates?
I
What's
love
going
that
on?
people in the chat are arguing about how this timeline works. It works and it doesn't, and it's so tough to analyze these kind of things because there is personal preference in how you like a time travel storyline to be told. There's whether it's logically coherent within the structure that they built, whether it makes sense in terms of like theoretical physics, in terms of what is, like what is predetermined future.
Exactly, and it's also like, I think it's just so annoying when you break your own rules. Like Legends of Tomorrow basically just said there's no rules. This is just a fun show.
It's the
But
Wild
Flash,
West, just accept it.
But the Flash keeps being so hard on like there are consequences, there are rules, like things
Right.
matter, and then they're just like nah, time race, forget about them.
Right.
Remnants, don't be a thing. Time loops can start anywhere.
Yeah.
Or don't need to start. It's,
Yeah, time race will come at you if you change time. Anyway, we just haven't seen them for a couple seasons. Future You made a bunch of time remnant U's, which originally is what really pissed off the time wraiths and stopped a whole villain before. But now we created hundreds of U's, and the race were just kind of like whatevs. So
That's
the
too
time
many.
wraiths like weren't bothered. Yeah, you can't create rules and use those as obstacles in your plot, when later you want to create a plot that revolves around not having those rules in place.
And also, I feel like none of this explains anything about, like, why you're a god of speed, why Julian was taken over with mind powers and a philosopher's stone, why you made metahumans from Earth 2. None of that has any relevance or
When you
explanation.
developed an Iron Man suit, like, none of it really checked. At no point was it like, and that's when I got so mad, I learned how to make armor.
I was trapped in a cave by terrorists.
He's just you with
and
a
the only way to
slightly
escape-
darker hair dye, and he's like, I didn't like it, so now I'm here. So where'd the armor come from, Bear? Where'd that armor come
Where'd that
from?
armor come from? Where'd the philosopher's stone come from? Why you dick to Julian?
Yeah.
Lauren Waters, not a fan of this episode. She says, this was the most filler episode the show has had all season, and we're 3 episodes away from the finale.
Lauren Waters saying it's the most filler episode all season, and I'm like, I agree it's a filler episode, but let's not go crazy here. We've had a couple of real filler episodes.
We've had some very bad filler episodes. This is a filler episode that I think should have been earlier in the season.
Yeah.
Once you reveal who Savitar is, every episode should be very Savitar-centric. He should not be standing still with no memories in a building somewhere, which I
He
guess
never
is
left
what
that
he
building.
did.
He wasn't like a rampagey robot, because that was the other thing. He also didn't have powers, I guess, in this scenario, which doesn't really make any sense at all. But he's in a giant robot mech suit, which he never left.
Was he stuck in it?
He literally just like, but he could move. He grabbed Caitlin and stuff. But that means that he lost his memory. So like, if I just had no memory, but I'm in a giant mech suit and I'm in a warehouse, and I'd be like, man, this is wild. I'm just gonna stand here and kind of think about my life for a
about
bit. 'Cause
24 hours.
I got myself into this is a real pickle. Like,
And
I don't know
this
how I got here, but it's a pickle.
And this is the thing, Savitar without memories is the Barry we saw. He's
And-
a nice guy who would have been like,
Yes.
hey,
Help,
can anyone help me?
Yeah.
I'm a very nice man.
And also, as a human without powers, would be someone who would need to go to the bathroom, get some food, lay down and go to sleep, find a hotel, cook a meal. so many things that you can't do as you stand in a metal suit and think about your life.
But, this is what I was trying to say, though, is I actually think this was a really fun idea for an episode and a really fun episode. I don't think it should be after Savitar's revealed. Earlier in the season, I think this would have been like a perfectly placed episode.
I get you.
And I really would have enjoyed it.
All right, fair enough. Well, I think that's everything that we got for the cons for the moment. Let's move on and talk about Easter eggs. All right, Easter eggs in tonight's episode. Diana, what did you find?
Okay. I think this has come up on Flash before. It definitely came up on an Arrow crossover, but I'll say it anyway. So Barry's real name is Bartholomew. In this episode, he has to be called Bart. And so in the comic books, Barry's grandson from the future is named Bart Allen. He is Impulse and Kid Flash, and eventually briefly becomes the Flash. He's had a illustrious career, that Bart Allen.
Yeah, not great at stopping, but good.
He is not good at stopping.
He's not good at stopping.
But he's good at vibrating, so he just goes through whatever he can.
He's better at that.
Yeah, so he's good. He's good. So I really like Bart. I hope we get to see him one day.
Okay.
Actually, if Iris doesn't die, if she lives.
Question mark?
I know what's going to happen.
Here we go.
And then the only other really one I saw was, so they built a Speed Force cannon.
Uh-huh.
So Speed Force cannon, what's the name of it?
Is that a thing in the comics?
It is. So there's a planet called Savoth, which knows about the speed...
Savoth?
I'm not going to say I'm pronouncing it right.
Nope, that's how it's pronounced from now on, even if it isn't correct. That's it. Savoth.
Savoth. They were really good at manipulating the Speed Force, and they made this giant Speed Force cannon to protect their planet. Okay. But it actually transported Jay Garrick to the planet. Oh. And he helped them fight evil for a bit, and then sent them back.
So it did help them protect the planet.
It did.
And not the way they intended.
In a better way.
But they did it. Those Savothians. That's how it's pronounced now.
And I don't think it's... and they're not connected anyway, but their name kind of sounds like Savitar.
Ah,
Savitar.
Yeah.
Unless I'm saying it wrong.
Probably are.
And oddly enough, that was all the ones from tonight's episode. Heatmonger isn't anybody.
Which I think that reigns true on a lot of episodes, on a lot of levels.
That he isn't anybody.
He isn't anybody. He isn't anybody in the comics. He wasn't anybody in this episode either. Just another nothing villain of the week. Literally, they never even captured him. At the end, the whole building is on fire thing. They ran around and they put it out, and on the ground they just showed Wally holding flamethrower as if Wally had stopped him.
Well, they showed him thrown on the ground first, tied up.
Did they?
Yeah. They tied him up and threw him down.
How quickly did they show that?
They're flashes.
I guess. Real quick. But yeah, that's a pretty wild. Took hard to cut from time. It's Friday. Boys getting burned home. Blue. I'm a fire person. And then run around. It's over. It all kind of happens off screen. Yeah, just a real nobody.
Nothing villain. But then we get King Shark at the end.
Yeah.
And I have no idea what that stone is. I'm going to need some more information.
No clue.
I'm sure it's something very powerful.
Yeah.
No ideas. I'm sorry, listeners. Sorry, viewers.
That's another thing.
If anyone knows, type it in.
I'm very confused by that, and I'm very mad at the storytelling of The Flash. That obviously this is meant to be a cliffhanger to be we're going into the finale, and this is going to be wet and wild. Let's do it. Wet.
Is it shark?
Wild because
he's a shark.
He's also a shark. But there was no preface for that. If that was something that we've spent a large portion of this show discussing, it would be oh no, this thing is back again. That felt like an ending to this episode that's almost like the ending to a Marvel movie that's been and it's an Infinity Stone. I'd be oh, okay, that means something, because that's an object that I understand the value and importance of in the context of everything that I've seen prior and what to expect to come. But this was just oh boy, where are our adventures going to take us next? Hard cut to meaningless object that means nothing to me, that I've never seen before, that I don't know what its purpose is. Mm-hmm. I'm implying power, but what?
And also a villain that we didn't know was on the loose, so we weren't thinking about even
bad
if we'd
storytelling,
known,
bad editing.
Even if we'd known King Shark was free, whatever. But I think we have a commenter with information.
Lauren Waters is saying it's the energy source from the aliens from the invasion episode, the Dominators. Apparently in the trailer for the next episode that is revealed.
We record before we watch the trailer for the next episode.
The Dominators had an energy source?
Okay, so to repeat in case, Lauren says the stone that King Shark has is from the Dominators from the invasion episode.
From the big crossover event.
They had crazy tech. I'm sure
they had crazy tech, but I don't remember the central focus of that arc was not their power source. Was it?
No, but also, like, they'll just have a quick shot of a plane crashing and being like, power.
I get it. Oh, yeah. So, sorry. I don't mean to say this to not thank Lauren. Thank you, Lauren, for the information. I appreciate that. It was Lauren, right? Yeah. Thank you, Lauren, for the information. So, but what I mean is that, like, that still kind of bothers me from a storytelling aspect, because I'm like, you need to remind us of that for that to mean something.
For this episode.
For this episode to mean something. Good. Yeah. Thank you, Lauren, for solving the mystery. I super appreciate that.
And apparently they played the musical theme of the Dominators from that Invasion episode. So a little subtle.
Oh, okay. Apparently there was a musical cue from the Dominator episode as well.
I don't notice music.
Yeah, you don't notice music. I have to do, but I didn't pick up on it on this one.
Well, also, when King Shark walks onto screen, I'm like, not noticing anything.
Well, yeah, I'm just kind of like, yeah, it was just a weird, too quick moment where I'm like, glowy thing that glows, it's an egg? Do I know this? And then I turn to you, I'm like, do I know? Hey, King Shark. It was just such a weird cliffhanger ending that didn't really pull me into the next one.
I mean, it did, because King Shark, but...
I mean, yeah, they literally could have just put up a title card that just said, King Shark, and I would have been like, well, you got me on this one. I guess I'll see you next week. I mean, you were going to anyway, but you know what I mean. Yeah.
Lightning round. What is Caitlin getting out of her deal with Savitar?
Ooh, what is Caitlin getting out of her deal with Savitar? What do you think?
What is Caitlin getting? I think he's going to take away all these pesky emotions.
I think Caitlin's trying to get back to being Caitlin and is asking him to take away her powers.
Oh, no.
No? Now you think she's going all in, eh?
Killer Frost would have just asked Julian to do that. Maybe she wants pants.
Ooh, pants.
I mean, she's cold.
Pants. Okay, let's go with pants.
I'd want pants.
Folmsby pointing out that they only had to keep Barry without powers until the daytime of Iris's death passed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right. So Folmsby bringing up the point that they just needed to keep his memories away until after when Iris was scheduled to die.
I mean,
and no one brought that up as an idea. Everyone was like, he's either stupid forever or we got to give him all his memories back.
I mean, that doesn't help the people dying in that burning building.
It don't, but firefighters should?
I mean,
police?
Do you think Iris would be cool with 100 people dying so she could live?
I think Iris should be cool with being like, let's let the water try one. You know what I mean? Like, that was the other thing that bothered me, is that they were like, oh, things are going to be brutal out there without a speedster. There's other criminals in this city. And I'm like, someone on your team is a cop. This is so insulting to the police and firefighters of this city. And also, right now, the biggest meta-human threat is Savitar. So it's kind of a wash, guys.
It does take out the biggest threat.
We're losing one hero, one supervillain. Let's let firefighters use water, which is historically known as being one of the greatest firefighters.
I'm still okay with not letting people die.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why we pay for firefighters.
All right. That's it for this episode.
All right. That was a great episode. Thank you very much for watching. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to Dork Shelf below on YouTube. Subscribe to Dork Shelf on YouTube. It'll give you notifications whenever we're about to go live with a new episode of Fan v Fan. Plus, you'll get to see all of the other great content that's available on the Dork Shelf Network. So subscribe right now.
And make sure you follow Dork Shelf on Twitter at Dork Shelf. We live tweet The Flash every week, and you can see our funny jokes on there.
We do what we can.
We try to be funny.
Yeah.
And you can find us at FromSuperheroes.com. That's our network. We have webcomics, we have YouTube, we have podcasts.
Yeah, podcasts where we talk about superhero properties every single week. So check out FromSuperheroes.com. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. I'm Andrew Rodney.
I'm Diana McCall.
Kicked him out.
Kicked him out!